It's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Parashat Devarim, from above and from below. If we look in Sefer Devarim, Parashat Devarim in particular, we find many differences between the way things are described in Devarim, in the book of Deuteronomy, and this Parsha, and the way they're described in previous parts of the Torah, where these stories were told the first time. Again, Exodus, Numbers, that's where these stories are told for the first time usually. And then in Devarim, everything is Deuteronomy, it's Deutero, it's Mishnah Torah, it's the second time, so everything's are told again. And there's an interesting phenomenon as to the distinctions between this book and the other. Different perspectives, let's call them different perspectives. Firstly, the notion of Ivar Yarden, the notion of the other side of the Jordan. Whose idea was it that Jews should live on the other side of the Jordan? Today, the Golan Heights. In those days, it was a broader area in northern Jordan and eastern Jordan and up a little bit into Syria. Whose idea was it that Jews should live there? So if you look in Parshas Matos, it sounds like it's Reuven and God. Oh, is there a crazy idea? They're going to live over there. And Moshe said, what? How could you have such an idea? Who ever heard of such a thing? You got to come and fight with us. Oh, you're going to come fight with us? Okay, you could stay there. In Devarim, it's told as no. Moshe gave certain areas to Machir from Menashe, to Reuven and Gad, to Menashe. Moshe just gave it. There's no dispute about it. The idea didn't come from below. It didn't come from Reuven. It came from above. Came from Moshe. So which one is it? Was it their idea, or was it his idea? Strange. The idea that an idea could come from above or from below, in Kabbalistic terms, it's called itra'uta de le'ela, itra'uta de l'tata. The idea of waking up. Who woke up? Who took the initiative? Was it the l'tata? Was it here, folks down here on earth, or was le'ela, God up above in heaven? And here, when it comes to the cross Jordan, Transjordan, it seems that idea was both a notion that was meant to be. Moshe, who represents the Torah and God, he said it's fine, you can have it. And it's also an idea that came from below, came from the people. Reuven and God, it was their bright idea. Then we have the Meraglim, the spies. In Parshat Shlach, in Bamidbar, it sounds like Vayedaber Hashem Moshe Lemor, Shlach lecha Anashim. Hashem spoke to Moshe and he told him, send Meraglim, great idea, send spies. Representatives will be the first conquest of Israel. They'll march through, 12 people, they'll march through like the place belongs to them. They'll come back, it'll be great. And over here, it's the people came, and we want to send people. Moshe said, yeah, it sounds like a good idea, we'll send spies. So which one was it? Was it above or below? Did God suggest the Meraglim, the spies, or was it the people? Was it Moshe? Which one was it? Both ideas are suggested. Minu is a king. Then we have another story in our Parsha how Moshe said, I have a great idea. Let's, it's just too difficult for me to handle all these people, so I have a great idea. Let's organize some judges. We'll have a system of leaders and things like that. So whose idea was that? Sounds like it's Moshe's idea. We all know from Parshat Ba'alotcha that it was what? It was God's idea. It was God's idea. In Yitro it says it was Yitro's idea. But let's compare Ba'alotcha, Devarim, in Bamidbar, and Devarim. Ba'alotcha, Hashem says, all right, you can't handle it. I'll give you 70 elders. And here, Moshe says, I have a great idea. Let's have some elders. Let's have some different leaders that could lead different, larger, smaller groups. Strange. Above or below. Another issue comes up in the Parsha. Edom. We know the Edomites, the Moabites, the Ammonites. These were three tribes that were sort of in the family, children of Esav, from Yitzchak, children of Lot, our good cousin Lot, nephew Lot. So we don't mess with them. Well, what perspective is that? Over here, in Parshat Devarim, it says, no, Tatzar at Moav, Al Tetzuraim, Don't make yourself an enemy. I'll teach Kabbalah, don't start up with them. I gave it to them, it's theirs, it belongs to them, it's God's idea. Don't mess with them. However, in Parshat Chukah, we're passing through, we say, hey, Edom, we'd like to pass through. No, you can't. All right, we'll pay for all the water that we drink. No, you still can't pass through. So which one was it? Was it Edom's idea from below that, no, you can't pass through? Or was it God's idea that you shouldn't go, just go around, don't mess with them, don't have anything to do with them? Strange. So what are all these ideas? 1, 2, 3, 4 different areas just in this parsha where we see a difference, not necessarily consistently the same perspective, but in some cases in Bamidbar, in some cases in Devarim, the idea seems to come from God, and in other cases it seems to come from below. What are these perspectives? I believe I learned from my rabbis at Gush, it works like this. Take a contradiction in the Gemara, take a contradiction in the Rambam. You have a contradiction. So you have a contradiction, so you say, oh, well, that's talking about this perspective, and that's talking about that perspective. Same thing here. So suddenly you have two different perspectives. Suddenly you have a deeper understanding because you contrasted two different ideas. So too over here. What the Torah is telling us is a truth about not just these 4 cases, but a truth about life. In life in general, sometimes we say, oh, I've got this great idea. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go there, and I'm going to create this, Turns out that was exactly God's plan. What you did, that's exactly God's plan. Take the founders of the state of Israel. They said, we're going to go. We got this idea. It has nothing to do with Judaism or anything. We're just going to go and we're going to conquer. Yeah, it's the land of our forefathers. But, we're the new Jews and we're going to go and conquer the land of Israel. God is laughing all the way to the bank and he says, yeah, that's right. I want the Jews to go and conquer the land of Israel. The time has come for the Jews to return to the land of Israel. It's people down here doing stuff. And it turns out that's God's plan from above. No, not everything is fatalistic. There's an important role that we play in deciding things. But to some degree, the Lev Melachim B'Yad Hashem, the hearts of kings are in God's hands. Many big things that happen in life, it's really in God's hands. You think you have a new idea. The Reubenites say, I have an idea, let's settle over here. And God says, I wanted some of the Jews to settle there anyway. The spies say, oh, we have a great idea, let's have the spies. That's what God wanted. Moshe says, oh, you know what? His brother Fazno says, I have an idea. Why don't we have a delegation? We'll have different leaders, different rulers. And Hashem says, you know what? That's what you should do. Gather 70 elders. We'll put their spirit on them. And when it comes to even wars and peace, we think, we'll start up with that country. We won't start up. And God says, that's the way it was supposed to be. That country is supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be doing this. That's how international affairs are supposed to work. You think it's because of some petty, local, temporal reason that you chose. Actually, that's God's plan for the whole world. It says in the Psalms, there are many thoughts in the man's heart, but the idea of God, that's the one that will be established, that will be correct. So, we have some things are started from above, started from below. But ultimately, man tracht and Gott lacht, that sometimes we make all kinds of big ideas, big decisions, and actually all we're doing is carrying out the plans of God. Thank you for joining us here at Baron Hirsch Congregation, and thanks to Jason Lefkowitz, our producer, and thanks to Joe and Cindy Weinstein for sponsoring this week's production. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.